They called him the voice of doom. Not as a joke. That's what listeners across an entire country called the man who would later be the kindest father on American television, because for 3 years he was the person who read out the names of the dead. He was born Lorne Greene in Ottawa to Russian Jewish immigrant parents. He went to Queen's University to study chemical engineering and got sidetracked by a drama club and a campus radio station and gave up the engineering entirely. The CBC hired him for one reason: the voice. Then Canada went to war in 1939, and the national newsreader's job stopped being ordinary. Every night from 1939 to 1942, he sat in a studio in Toronto and told the country what had happened. U-boats in the Atlantic, cities being bombed, defeats, and the casualty lists, the actual names of Canadian soldiers killed, read out on national radio. Think about what that meant in a house. There was no other way to find out. Families sat around a wooden radio in the evening, and a calm, deep, unhurried voice began reading names, and somewhere in that country, every single night, somebody heard their own. The CBC's official nickname for him was the Voice of Canada. The public called him the other thing. He also solved a small practical problem in that studio that nobody had cracked. Announcers had no way of knowing how much time was left in a segment while they were speaking, so he invented a countdown timer. A stopwatch that runs backwards to 0. That became standard equipment in radio and television studios everywhere. It's still how it's done. He joined the Royal Canadian Air Force in 1942 and served as a flying officer, and after the war he ran a broadcasting school and worked in New York theater and did a season at Stratford. He was in his 40s and largely unknown in the United States when a guest spot on a Western got him noticed. He was offered a choice: Ben Cartwright, the father, or Adam, the eldest son. His friend Leslie Nielsen told him to take the father because the father would be the center of it. 14 years on the Ponderosa, then Battlestar Galactica after that. For a generation of American children, that voice meant safety. It meant the man who comes down the stairs and settles the argument and tells you it's going to be all right. An entire other country had spent 3 years listening to the same voice for the opposite reason.